Welcome to Wrestling Sphere, the channel where we bring you untold stories from the world of WWE wrestling. In today's video we'll be diving into the tragic deaths of wrestlers who were overlooked by WWE, individuals who once lit up the ring but were ultimately forgotten. If you're a WWE fan and want to learn more about these emotional and mysterious tales from the wrestling world, make sure to hit like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any of our content. Join us as we journey through these unforgettable stories that shaped the history of WWE. 1. Owen Hart, Death in the Spotlight. Owen Hart was not only an exceptional wrestler but also a devoted family man, a humble friend, and a comedian outside the ring. Born into the renowned Hart wrestling family, Owen inherited a natural talent and fierce fighting spirit. Despite being overshadowed by his older brother, Bret Hart, Owen carved out his own identity with a unique in-ring style and charismatic performances. On May 23, 1999, at the Over the Edge pay-per-view, Owen was set to perform a dramatic entrance as his Blue Blazer character, descending from the rafters into the ring. However, a tragic accident occurred when the safety mechanism malfunctioned, causing Owen to fall nearly 24 feet to the canvas, right in front of thousands of live spectators. Though he was quickly attended to and rushed to the hospital, Owen did not survive, passing away at the age of 34. The moment stunned the entertainment world, yet rather than halting the event to honor Owen, the show proceeded as if nothing had happened. WWE aired a tribute segment the following night on Raw, but soon after Owen's death faded into obscurity. There were no tournaments named in his honor, no annual memorial events, and no official apology from the company to his family. Owen's wife, Martha Hart, refused to allow WWE to induct him into the Hall of Fame, believing it would be an insult to her late husband's memory. For many fans, Owen Hart's tragic loss wasn't just due to an accident. It was a betrayal by the very company that had once celebrated his talent. A heartbreaking end for a man who deserved to be remembered with deep respect. 2. Chris Benoit, When Tragedy Overwhelmed Glory. Chris Benoit was once the epitome of a perfect warrior in the ring. Tough, dedicated, and relentless to the point of obsession. He didn't possess the towering physique of many other wrestling stars, but what he lacked in size, he more than made up for with a steely determination and unmatched technical prowess. Benoit rose from the brutal world of Japanese wrestling, refining a strong will and strict discipline. He made the crowd at WrestleMania 20 erupt in cheers when he forced Triple H to tap out, claiming the World Heavyweight Championship amidst tears and the embrace of his friends. However, that shining moment came crashing down in just a few days. In June 2007, Benoit, once a symbol of hard work and passion, shocked the world when it was revealed he had tragically murdered his wife, Nancy, and young son, Daniel, before taking his own life. The incident sparked intense debates about mental health, brain injuries, and the impact of steroids in the wrestling industry, but WWE took a different route. They erased Benoit's name from all records, programs, and history. From being a celebrated legend, Benoit became a name that was no longer allowed to be spoken. His accomplishments were removed from videos, images, and video games as if he had never existed. WWE never held an official memorial or shared any profound words with fans about the loss, except for an episode of Raw aired shortly after the incident, which was eventually pulled once the full truth came to light. The story of Chris Benoit is not just a family tragedy, but also the tale of a man who once stood at the pinnacle, only to be erased from history without mercy. In the shadow of his pain, he left this world not only in disgrace but in a chilling silence that resonates to this day. 3. Andrew Test Martin, A Silent Passing. Andrew Martin, known to fans as Test, was once expected to become one of WWE's top stars. Standing at 6 feet 6 inches with a muscular build and striking looks, Test had all the physical attributes that management had high hopes for. He began his career in WWE at a young age, quickly standing out in major rivalries with figures like Triple H, and notably his dramatic love storyline with Stephanie McMahon. Although Test's in-ring style was powerful and at times wild, he found himself stuck in a career limbo, never quite breaking through to the top as a champion, but not faded into obscurity either. He held several mid-card titles such as the Hardcore and Tag Team Championships, but over time his position within the company began to wane. A series of serious injuries combined with painkiller abuse led to a gradual decline in his career. In 2009, at just 33 years old, Andrew was found dead in his apartment. The cause was determined to be an overdose of oxycodone, a highly addictive painkiller commonly used in the wrestling industry. His death was tragic, but what made it even more painful was WWE's response. Virtually nothing. There was no tribute video, no heartfelt message on television, just a single announcement on the company's website that quickly faded into silence. Test had sacrificed his youth and his body for an industry that demands unrelenting endurance. Yet when his light was extinguished, it seemed no one remembered to honor him. This silence is the harsh price many wrestlers pay, even when they've once been celebrated and cheered. For Crash Holly, the reckless loner in a glitzy world. Born Michael Lockwood, fans knew him best by his ring name, Crash Holly, an iconic and unique figure amidst the sea of muscle-bound wrestlers in the Attitude Era. Despite standing at just 5 feet 7 inches, smaller than most of his opponents, Crash didn't follow the typical path. He turned his lack of size into an advantage, creating a humorous and unpredictable persona with the Hardcore Championship and the 24/7 rule that kept fans on their toes. His antics had the crowd laughing one moment and then stunned into silence as they realized the true talent hidden beneath the rebellious exterior. Crash was no stranger to chaotic matches, where anything could happen, something rare in the scripted world of professional wrestling. However, behind the bright lights and roaring crowds, Michael Lockwood was a lonely man, struggling with the invisible pressures of this demanding industry. As his fame waned and opportunities dried up, Crash fell into the grip of depression and substance abuse. In November 2003, his lifeless body was discovered at his ex-girlfriend's home in Florida. The cause of death was determined to be a fatal overdose of prescription medication. He passed away quietly at just 32 years old. WWE, which had once showcased his vibrant talent and personality, barely acknowledged his passing. There was no formal tribute video, no memorial clip, and no mention on the official shows. A character who once made millions laugh, chasing and being chased for the Hardcore title like an eternal child, vanished quietly. Perhaps the only thing left is the faint memory of this self-proclaimed 400-pounder, who always carried a small scale on his hip as a way to assert his presence in a vast and unforgiving world. 5. Umaga, the Silent Beast and the Forgotten End. Edward Fatu, better known to fans as Umaga, was a true nightmare to his opponents. With no lengthy speeches or flashy theatrics, Umaga entered the ring as an unstoppable force, embodying the raw power of his Samoan heritage and an intensity that seemed like a storm. With his imposing physique, devastating strikes, and a face painted with ritualistic designs, he left the audience holding their breath every time he appeared. Umaga's WWE career was marked by long undefeated streaks, brutal Samoan spike attacks, and high-profile rivalries with superstars like John Cena and Triple H. However, behind the ferocity was a gentle soul, deeply devoted to his family and friends backstage. He often took on the role of the monster as scripted, sacrificing his health and mental well-being for the company, but when the lights went down he was just a man yearning for rest. In 2009, at the age of 36, Edward passed away suddenly from a heart attack, linked to heart issues caused by drug abuse and painkillers. Despite once being the centerpiece of major events, WWE handled Umaga's death with shocking indifference. There was no tribute video, no heartfelt message, no mention in the mainstream shows. Everything was quickly forgotten. The name Umaga seemed to be erased from the company's memory, as if he had never been a fierce force during WWE's golden era. A warrior who fell not to a foe in the ring, but to the invisible pressures from outside, leaving behind only painful silence as the lights never fully dimmed. 6. Lance Cade, a flame that burned out too soon. Lance Cade was never the kind of name that would send crowds into a frenzy with every entrance, but for those who followed WWE in the mid-2000s, he was a familiar face. With a calm demeanor, neatly trimmed blonde hair, and a gentle smile behind his muscular frame, Lance seemed poised for a bright future in the competitive world of wrestling. Highly regarded by Vince McMahon and trained by the legendary Shawn Michaels, he had all the potential to go far. Alongside Trevor Murdoch, Cade formed a tag team that brought a unique flair to the division, embodying the rough-and-tumble cowboy spirit of the American South. Their blend of strength and underhanded tactics earned them multiple tag team championships. While they might not have achieved the legendary status of other iconic pairs, their chemistry and contrasting personalities left a lasting impression on fans. But when their partnership dissolved, Cade's solo career struggled to take off as expected. Frequent injuries, health issues, and inconsistent storylines gradually pushed him out of the spotlight. After being released from WWE in 2008, Cade attempted to revive his career in smaller promotions. However, the shadow of his painkiller addiction and ongoing health problems quietly took a toll on him. In 2010, at just 29 years old, Lance Cade passed away from heart failure, a complication of various medications. His sudden death went largely unnoticed, at least by the company that once placed its trust in him. There was no farewell on air, no tribute video, and no mention of him on the following week's Raw or SmackDown. WWE remained silent, as if Lance had never stepped foot in their ring. A young talent lost too soon, leaving behind a lingering question. If given more time, could he have fulfilled the promise his early years had hinted at? 7. Shad Gaspard, a real-life hero and the silence from behind the scenes. Shad Gaspard was more than just a wrestler. He embodied the spirit of resilience, a warrior both in and out of the ring. Best known for his time with the Crime Time tag team alongside his close friend JTG, Shad brought a sense of energy, youthfulness, and humor to WWE during a time when entertainment was just as important as competition. With his muscular build and boundless energy, Shad earned the admiration of fans for his authenticity, vibrant personality, and the radiant smile he wore whenever he stepped into the ring. While he never reached the heights of major championship titles, Gaspard made a lasting impression through his ability to connect with the audience and his unwavering commitment to every appearance. After leaving WWE, he ventured into acting, modeling, comic book writing, and spent significant time with his family, especially his beloved young son. It was this love for his child that led to a tragic and heroic final act that left the world speechless. In May 2020, while swimming with his son at Venice Beach, California, both father and son were swept out by a strong current. In a selfless moment of bravery, Shad passed his son to the lifeguards, urging them to save the child first. Tragically, he was carried away by the waves and went missing for several days before his body was discovered, lifeless. His heroic act, not in the ring but in real life, made him a hero in the eyes of millions. Yet, WWE's response to his death was lackluster. There were no special tribute shows, no heartfelt segments aired on television. Just a few words shared on social media, quickly fading away. This indifference sparked outrage among many, as Shad was not only a wrestler but also a father, a friend, and a testament to the fact that not every hero is honored by the spotlight. Chyna, the woman who overcame everything, yet was forgotten by history. Chyna, also known as the ninth wonder of the world, is one of WWE's most iconic figures. Unlike other female wrestlers, she didn't just have a muscular and athletic physique. She possessed extraordinary confidence and an undeniable will to break the deeply entrenched barriers in the industry. When she entered WWE, Chyna became a symbol of strength and resilience, challenging even the toughest male competitors in thrilling matchups. Under the spotlight, she helped redefine what women in professional wrestling could achieve. For Chyna, there were no limits. She was the first woman to win the Intercontinental Championship, making a powerful statement not just in the wrestling world, but also among WWE fans who witnessed her rise. Her dominance wasn't just physical. She showcased intelligence in her strategy, sharp decision-making, and remarkable determination. However, as she moved away from the shadow of male superstars to forge her own path, she faced even greater challenges, both from opponents in the ring and the very company she had helped build. As Chyna's career began to fade after its peak, WWE gradually pushed her into the background, refusing to give her the recognition she deserved as a true legend in the eyes of fans. She stopped appearing in major events and was notably absent from commemorative videos or special programming. Discussions about her were even considered taboo within the company. In 2016, Chyna was found dead in her Los Angeles apartment. Her passing, caused by a combination of drugs and alcohol leading to a heart attack, was a devastating loss for the WWE community and all those who had witnessed her contributions in the ring. But what was even more painful was the silence from WWE, the company to which she had devoted her youth and energy. There were no official tributes, no memorial events for the woman who had revolutionized women's wrestling. It was as though everything Chyna had done throughout her career was erased. Chyna was not just a wrestler, she was a symbol of strength and empowerment for women in a male-dominated world. Yet, in the end, when her light was extinguished, WWE failed to give the respect and honor that such a wrestling legend deserved. 9. Balls Mahoney, a life overlooked in silence from WWE. Balls Mahoney, born John Reckner, was a standout figure in the world of professional wrestling, remembered for his extreme, violent style and rebellious attitude. After a long run in ECW, where he became a star with his unique hardcore approach, Mahoney made his way to WWE, leaving a lasting impression on fans with his relentless fighting spirit and willingness to take brutal hits without backing down. Known for his playful, often mischievous personality, Mahoney won fans over not only with his talent but also with his ability to create intense, dramatic, hardcore matches. He wielded objects like steel chairs, wooden planks, and sharp implements, turning each fight into a true battle for survival. Alongside these wild matches, Balls Mahoney became a true defender of the hardcore wrestling style that ECW had established, and his contributions played a crucial role in the promotion's success. However, as WWE took over ECW and Mahoney was brought into the company, his career began to face significant challenges. His matches lacked the same intensity, and the care and attention that once defined his performances seemed to fade. Despite his efforts, Mahoney never achieved the same level of success in WWE, and instead remained popular within a niche community of hardcore wrestling fans. While not a major WWE star, he retained a loyal following, particularly among those who appreciated his extreme, violent wrestling style. Sadly, when Balls Mahoney passed away in 2016 at the age of 44, WWE failed to acknowledge his death in any meaningful way. There were no tributes, no memorials for someone who had significantly contributed to the hardcore wrestling scene and had been one of the standout figures of ECW. Mahoney's death, believed to be caused by a heart attack, raised questions about the injustice in recognizing the true contributions of wrestlers. WWE, with all its power and influence, did not offer Mahoney the proper recognition he deserved, despite the sacrifices he made throughout his career. A star of the past, a man who had once made crowds roar with his violence, was met with silence from the very company that had been his home. 10. Mike Awesome, the tragic legacy of a forgotten giant. Mike Awesome was a towering figure in the world of professional wrestling, known for his impressive athleticism, explosive moves, and larger-than-life persona. Standing at 6 feet 6 inches and weighing over 280 pounds, Awesome's physical presence alone made him a force to be reckoned with. His wrestling style was a blend of brute strength and agility, making him one of the most dynamic big men in the sport. He gained notoriety in ECW, where he was a fan favorite, particularly for his incredible high-flying maneuvers and vicious powerbombs. His combination of raw power and athleticism set him apart from many of his contemporaries and earned him the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. Awesome's success was not limited to ECW. In 2001, when WWE purchased WCW, Awesome was one of the most sought-after talents in the business. His move to WCW was highly anticipated, as fans were eager to see him perform alongside top stars like Sting, Goldberg, and Kevin Nash. However, his time in WCW was not as impactful as his ECW run. Off-screen, Mike Awesome's life was marked by personal struggles. He battled with depression and the toll that years of high-impact wrestling had taken on his body. In 2007, just 42 years old, Mike Awesome was found dead in his home in Tampa, Florida, an apparent suicide. His tragic death shocked the wrestling community and left many questioning how someone so talented and promising could fall into such despair. Despite his incredible contributions to wrestling, Mike Awesome's passing went largely unnoticed by the mainstream wrestling world. WWE, which had briefly employed him, made no public acknowledgement of his death, and his name faded into obscurity. However, for those who remember his ECW days, Mike Awesome will always be remembered as one of the most underrated and tragic figures in professional wrestling history. A man whose talent was undeniable, yet whose story was left untold. In the end, we've explored the heartbreaking and unfortunate stories of WWE wrestlers who were never given the respect they truly deserved by the company. Each of their deaths represents a significant loss, not just for their families and loved ones but also for the wrestling community. These individuals dedicated their careers and hearts to WWE, yet when they passed away they were forgotten and left behind. Despite this, their stories continue to live on in the hearts of their fans. We hope that through this video we can remember them with the respect they so rightfully earned. Thank you for watching Wrestling Sphere. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can stay with us for our future videos.